Chapter 18. Last Straw. The alarms continued to blare in the aquarium. Shelley glanced over at Enrique. He looked afraid. Desperately, she tried to think of another way out, but they were trapped. Cackling laughter tore through the aquarium, accompanied by the sea witch's voice. My dearie, don't fail me. Your time is almost up. Now fork it over. Shelley saw a flash of Enrique again as the sea pulped. No, she yelled. That's when Shelley had a wild idea. She grabbed Enrique's hand while still clutching the Triton with her other. She could feel power surging through the weapon. To the sun deck. It's the only way out. They ran the other way, bolted up the stairs, and emerged onto the sun deck. Wind whipped off the ocean. The dolphins circled in their exhibit. They knew something was wrong. Overhead, a storm was brewing, and not just any storm, an unnatural storm. Bright lightning pulsed in the dark sky, lighting up the clouds, while the ocean grew turbulent. In the distance, Shelley saw the two yellow eyes of the sea eels blink open in the dark water. They swam in opposite directions. The sea witch was watching them. Come on, she said, leading Enrique to the catwalk over the open ocean. It was the same spot where she had littered, dropping the plastic cup at her friend's urging. It was also where the giant wave had snatched her. I made a mistake by littering, she thought. I'm sorry. She'd learned her lesson, more than learned it. Littering in the ocean was wrong. If only she'd done the right thing and hadn't bent to peer pressure, then none of this would be happening. She just hoped she still had time to make it right. The waves sloshed up onto the catwalk, spritzing them with seawater. She tasted it on her tongue and breathed it into her lungs. She held the Triton in her hand and peered into the dark ocean, filled with angry whitecaps. The wind whipped up, making the sea churn faster. Shelley could feel the power of the Triton flowing through her body. She remembered what it had done to the shark. Hurry, dive in, Enrique said, standing next to her on the catwalk. Rain and wind pelted his face and body. Swim to her lair. Take her the Triton. That's the only way to stop this. Shelley wanted to, but something was stopping her. No, it's too dangerous, she said. I can't give her the Triton. Fear flashed in his eyes. What do you mean? You don't have a choice. Did you see what it did to the shark? She replied, while the wind whipped at her. If we give the Triton to Ursula, then she could use it to do bad things. Terrible things to everyone. Enrique glanced out over Triton Bay, the only place they'd ever called home, with all the people who lived there, then met Shelley's gaze. He looked grim. You're right, but if you don't do it, then there's no way to reverse the curse. You'll turn into a fish for good. Fear tore through Shelley. The thought of turning into a fish forever, of leaving her family and friends, terrified her and made her heart ache. But if she gave the Triton to the sea witch, then the witch would have the power to hurt everybody she loved. Her mom and dad, Dawson, Enrique, and his brother Miguel, Mr. Aguino, Atina, and Alana, even Kendall and Judy Weisberg. She couldn't let that happen. She'd made a mistake before. She'd done the wrong thing by littering in the ocean, by letting other people make decisions for her. But now she could make a better choice, even if it cost her everything. This was her chance to make it right. Shelley stepped down from the catwalk and backed away from the water, Triton in hand. I can't give it to her, she yelled over the wind and rain. I have to do the right thing and protect Triton Bay, like my parents. I was selfish before. I can't make that same mistake again. Enrique met her eyes and held her gaze once again. He looked troubled, but he managed a weak smile. Shelley could see that he knew she was right, even if it cost him something important too. I always knew you were special, he started. But then a black tentacle shot out of the ocean and wrapped around his chest. His eyes widened with fear, and then the tentacle yanked him off the catwalk and dragged him into the ocean. Before he vanished beneath the waves, he locked eyes with Shelley and yelped. And then he was gone.